Feels like it's been a while since we've done a take and hold over here. I did a poll actually asking people what they'd want to see from take and hold. Either I have to lay down the entire time, or limited ammo, or only weapons from games I know, or discuss only the thematic elements of The Binding of Isaac and not what's actually going on screen. One of those won, and I think you know which one it is. And I mean, it's already in the... There's already probably an Isaac on the thumbnail and a warning earlier in the video. By the way, content warnings, because The Binding of Isaac is a very dark game. There will be talk of things like, you know, domestic abuse and addiction. Not just, you know, the funny pow pow, haha, look at the funny hot dog explode. No. Sorry. But if you do want a normal H3VR Take and Hold run, over on Patreon, I have the Take and Hold After Show, where I will be doing a normal run after this one. So, consider becoming a patron. You don't need to be a $3 patron, you know, the cutting room floor, to get the after show, because it's also given to VIP. There's other ways to get the after show as well. Anyways, I've put this off long enough. Let's eat the hot dog and go to hell. The first thing I want to get across straight away, The Binding of Isaac is not a game that's anti-religion. And it's not a game about embracing your dark side. Why do I have this? A lot of really bad analyses of The Binding of Isaac are kind of just like, well, it's about being evil. Because, you know, the brimstone's a good item and the devil gives you brimstone. Well, I mean, a lot of the analysis along those lines don't take into account the fact that The Binding of Isaac Rebirth added Godhead, which is a fantastic item that you can get in angel rooms, provided you put in the effort to unlock it first. So, it's not about that. I'm so glad I checked to see if this had a safety. Okay.
No hard feelings.
Oh, it's god dang it. Okay.
Investigating.
Okay.
Yeah.
But The Binding of Isaac is really about, I mean, the ending credits make it perfectly clear. It's not just about, you know, oh, religion is bad or religion can do this. It's kind of a lot of things. And religion can be this force of, you know, hatred and bigotry and exclusionism. But it can also be this, you know, it can be, you know, a guiding element for people. That thing sucks. I'm just gonna use the regular. I'm just gonna use this. Dang it. Okay. Isaac in The Binding of Isaac is kind of, you know, stuck in an abusive household, in a very fundamentalist household, and believes that his family splitting is his fault. He's self-loathing, you know. He locks himself away, believes himself evil, the cause of all of his family's problems. And he's only 5, so, you know, that's the only justification he can give himself. Hello. Nice. You know, so The Binding of Isaac is, you know, about these kind of, you know, abusive tendencies, you know. A family that doesn't like you for who you are and, you know, want to, you know, change you or shape you in an image they deem more suitable. You know, feeling like you're not allowed to be yourself and there's something wrong about being yourself. You know, Isaac is a mentally disturbed child who, you know, grew up around an alcoholic addict father. You know, his world of fantasy is full of body horror and, you know, scatological themes. That's not on accident. That's because of, you know, the people he's around. That's because of the upbringing he's had. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. This is what I'm looking for. You know, and there is kind of this, like, inherent tragedy to you know, Isaac's upbringing. When you start the game, he's already dying. He's locked himself in the chest and he's planning to suffocate himself because he's learned that this world that he's created to hide away in to, try to solve his own problems is deemed sinful and horrible by the people around him. And there's really no easy way to get around that. Isaac is already pretty much dead. But the game kind of takes on then this kind of like spiritual one last quest for redemption. Form. The characters from Isaac's demented childhood games of make-believe are here to guide him on a quest of strength and inner peace. He's getting to use kind of, the good aspects of his upbringing to dethrone the negative aspects of his upbringing. And we see that in Repentance. Oh, by the way, this is also going to contain spoilers for Repentance. This is a weird video. So, in the Binding of Isaac Repentance, you fight Dogma, which is kind of the manifestation of the Christian broadcasts, the fundamentalist, cult-like wailings of television preachers.
Time out for me, I guess.
Telling, their viewers and the world about how mankind is inherently sinful and how the wrath of God is coming. Those broadcasts are, for better or for worse, have shaped Isaac and his mother in ways that neither of them can really fully comprehend. But all Isaac really knows is that they are evil. They've turned someone who's supposed to be kind of this loving character in his life into this hateful, manipulative, bastard who hates her family unless they're willing to bend to her, God's, her will. And, Isaac's father didn't want to do that. Isaac's father instead, became an addict, became, disturbed, perhaps abusive. Abusive towards his wife, no doubt. Stealing money from her and, yelling at her, swearing at her in ways that really, under most circumstances, shouldn't be okay. And Isaac, when he's 5, doesn't really understand exactly what's happening. He doesn't have the vocabulary to understand that both of the parental figures in his life are abusive, but one is using that abuse against the other parent. Creating this world of fucked up make-believe that Isaac retreats into that no other parental figure would deem okay or palatable for a child. And then the other one is using faith against Isaac. And they're kind of turning, Isaac's parents are turning each other against each other through their child. And that's not okay. But above all, it's kind of this, faith and, this kind of, divine idea of faith and this very lowbrow idea of, playing in, a dilapidated basement, fighting off kind of, mutated, deformed, forgotten brothers and sisters, to give yourself cancer so you can cry harder to defeat, medical horrors. But that's really all Isaac knows, and that's, ultimately, definitely take that. That's ultimately the point behind the Binding of Isaac. One last thing, this is only one interpretation. Just like Fallout Analysis, this is an analysis, not the analysis. There are many ways to spin what happens in the Binding of Isaac, and this is just my own personal interpretation. But, anyways, getting back to Dogma. In Repentance, you fight kind of this manifestation of the televangelist broadcasts that corrupted Isaac's family and started driving them apart. And it takes on this very disorienting form. It's loud, it's brash, it's incredibly overstimulating. You know, it flickers, it screams and writhes. It's, you know, a biblically correct angel, which is, I mean, pretty much just a, you know, a flippin' wheel with nightmare vision. But when you defeat it, you know, Isaac now gets to use the good of religion, his own version of these beliefs, to turn himself into kind of, you know, the typical portrayal of like an angel or a cherub, and then fight the horsemen of the apocalypse and the beast, the flippin' mother of harlots, in hell no less, kind of finding a way to, you know, accept that what drove his family apart was not himself, but was instead several factors that he doesn't really even quite understand. But he gets that something has happened, something terrible has happened to his family, and he's going to attempt to forgive himself on this, like, spiritual journey, because it's all he has.
Oh, well then as well.
Where? Oh, I'm standing right under. One other thing of note is that a lot of Isaac's,
What's that?
like, childhood items are old. You know, there's a dial-up modem that you can obtain. X-ray specs is kind of like 50s gag gift.
Ouch.
Now, many of the items he has are, you know, not particularly new, but he has some that are. You know, Isaac has access to a smartphone that can play Pokemon Go. It's a shop item. In my eyes, Isaac's kind of a hand-me-down kid, but he didn't have any, like, older siblings, so it's like items that are decades older than he is.
What's that?
But, you know, he has to make sense out of somehow.
Guess I'm dead meat.
You know, if you are, and, you know, all you have are, you know, really old items, you don't know exactly when they're from. They're just what you have and what you grow up with. Dave Bulmer did this really good video about, what is it, Sparky's Magic Piano or something like that? Like an old, like, 70s children's album.
Huh?
Actually, it's older than the 70s, but his particular version is from the 70s. Or maybe the early 80s. I always get muscle meat, and I don't exactly know what to do with it. We're very light on the weapons today. Let's grab another weapon. This is why we're light on the weapons, right? You know, the record and the record player that Dave grew up with was older than he was, and he didn't really have this idea that, you know, when you're a kid, you really don't think about the fact that your parents were once children, and the past that they kind of lived in is so radically different from where you live now that, especially as a kid with limited, like, knowledge and context of a previous world, a world before you, the items kind of feel foreign or alien in a way. And I feel like a lot of, kind of, the item design in the Binding of Isaac kind of reflects that. You know, all the item names and descriptions are written like, you know, how a child would write them. Mom's credit card. You know, the idea of a credit card is you put off paying for a good or a service for some amount of time so you can come back and pay it later. But the credit card in the Binding of Isaac makes a shop item free. You know, Isaac isn't paying towards the future because as a kid he doesn't have this, you know, idea of, you know, debt and money and economy. But then there's also kind of this alternate interpretation that Isaac doesn't have a past. You know, what does Isaac have to look forward to? Nothing. But at the same time, Isaac is already dead, so does it matter? Kind of switch gears. In the game, there are devil and angel deals. You know, you can go to...
Oh, goodness.
a devil and give up a part of your soul for financial gain or just power.
I'm out of gas.
And that's, you know, very kind of enticing. You know, in game you might think to yourself, you know, I don't need 5 heart containers. I can get away with 4 and have, you know, extra damage, or the ability to fly, or the ability to shoot a giant blood laser from my mouth to destroy everything directly in front of me. And that's okay.
What's that?
You know, you're using religion as a tool. And religion ultimately is a tool. You know. You know, it is, in a way, kind of rules for life, but it's not, you know, the rules for life. You know, there are many ways to interpret your own existence and the world you live in, and your own, like, upbringing, and, you know, this can be a tool in your tool belt to figure out how you want to guide your life. So if you do want to, you know, give up part of what makes you you for a chance to survive longer, if that's what you think needs to be done, then it needs to be done. But if you... I'm getting surrounded. You know, if you abstain from... You know, if you abstain, though, from, you know, giving up part of your soul, your chance of an angel deal, which is, you know, the ability to, kind of, you know, you get a free item from the angel. You don't have to give up anything or pay anything. It's just free. Take it. And, Rebirth and its expansions really do a good job of making angel items legitimately good. Before, they would kind of just be run-of-the-mill, okay items, but now you can get things like Holy Mantle, which lets you survive 1 hit per room. Which is incredibly helpful. Especially with a character like the Lost, Isaac's lost soul trying to find its way to heaven. You know, can't take a single hit, will die immediately. But if you unlock Holy Mantle, then you have the ability to... Oh, crap. You know, if you unlock the Holy Mantle, you have the ability to, you know, tank some hits. And that's very helpful. I did really good, though. 57,000. That's like the best we've ever done. And that's even not even excluding the fact that, you know, they've bumped up all the scores. You know, you know, we made it to the very end of the 4th hold, which is way better than we typically do. I do want to wrap up this thought, though. So, you know, you can, you know, give into temptation, give up part of your soul for the sake of fighting longer. Or you can abstain from temptation even though you're in a very rough situation and you're kind of rewarded for it. Now, the world doesn't work so binary, but, you know, this idea of, you know, you can give in and just, like, make things easier for yourself by giving away part of yourself. Or, you know, you can wait and hope for something better, like, legitimately better. Kind of ties into this, like, capitalistic idea of the Binding of Isaac, where, you know, everything is transactional. You spend a key. You don't get to hold on to a key. You spend it. You know, your health is a commodity. Your items are a commodity. Your, you know, I mean, your money is a commodity, but also your energy is a commodity as well. You know, you spend energy tokens and earn them back over time. Everything's kind of a commodity in the Binding of Isaac. It kind of reflects the sort of hyper-capitalist society that our parents grew up in, that we're kind of seeing the after effects of now. And likewise, you know, you can give in and just work like a 40 or 60 hour, you know, desk job and make decent money. You kind of give up a part of yourself, but you make your life easier. You're not scrounging for cash. You know, your children get fed and clothed. Or, you know, you can hold out and hope that, you know, a creative endeavor takes off. I've kind of rambled about the Binding of Isaac for a good long while, and there's no doubt a lot of this didn't make sense because my brain is focused on 2 things at once, and I'm kind of just going on and on and on as I do. But, you know, I got about 20 minutes worth of stuff out of that, and I'm very proud of that. I think we're going to head over to a scene and do our closing words. Hey, so real quick, I just want to say thank you for sticking around at the very end of the video. I'm going to try to get the Counter-Strike video out for next week. I haven't decided whether it's me in one piece or two yet, but I do want to get that out as quick as I can. So hopefully you will see at least some of that next week. Thank you, though, for making the Left 4 Dead video as much of a success as it was. Hopefully the Counter-Strike video is even bigger, because I would like to do... I like doing the H3VR stuff, and if people will watch it, then I've got no qualms with playing it. So, I think that's really it from me in terms of thank yous. Other than, you know, I've got the social media links. I have a shirt that, or a print or a sticker, just the one design that you can get over on Redbubble. I made a game, it's called Up in Smoke. You play as a little fireman putting out fires. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, there's the subscribing and all that. No, but thank you for watching. And hopefully you'll stick around for more, and hopefully you'll get to see this guy in legitimate action very soon. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, I'd recommend subscribing. Patreon and social media links are in the description.